everyone. Welcome to North of 60. I'm Heidi Schweighofer. I'm very honored today to introduce our guest from the Hudson Police Department. Chief Tabak has been with us in Hudson since August of 2018. It's so nice to have you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, Heidi.
How do you like Hudson?
I love it. Great community, great police department. Been wonderful. Where
did you come from? What was your background before you came here?
I spent almost 25 years in Cuyahoga Falls as a police officer and for that
close
community.
By.
Yeah, right next door. I left there as a captain before I came here. I was in charge of special operations, which was our training bureau, dispatch, canine, and SWAT.
Wow. And have you settled into Hudson? Are you going to move here or stay where you are?
We currently live, we're about 7 minutes from the police department, but we did buy a house in Hudson and probably be moved in probably about another 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And welcome to Hudson. I've been here 26 years, which is just unbelievable to me. But I was talking with the mayor. I can't imagine moving. So it's a great place.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that we were able to find a house and move into the city.
So. Good. Well, I want to really talk about elderly scams with you today. You brought it up at the senior listening luncheon on February 8th, and I just felt like that was the tip of the iceberg, and I really wanted to learn more. I have a 99-year-old father who lives in Michigan in our childhood home, and every time I visit him, there are phone calls, or I will get online to do something for Dad, and there will be, I'm President so-and-so from whatever country, and I have $4 million in the United States, and I need you to send money. It just really terrifies me that he could get involved in something. And I don't even think I know 1/10 of the scams that are out there. So talk about the ones that you've seen and what's going on.
Well, I think we were talking a little bit before we got started here today about, and I told you that these scams aren't new. What's new is the use of the technology and the broader groups that the scammers are able to target, with technology, with the cell phones and the internet. So people have been scammed for, many years prior to this, but we're seeing many more just because of the ease and the access to people. You're still seeing the ones that you've probably heard of, where people will call and tell you that they're from the IRS or they're from
I get those on my cell phone even.
Yeah, they'll tell you they're from some type of government agency and that you either owe money for something or you have an arrest warrant.
Yes.
Or if you don't comply, they're going to issue an arrest warrant for your arrest. So they try and scare people into complying. And a lot of times these callers, they'll sound legit. They'll use certain terminology. They may even, the phone number that comes up may look like a legitimate phone number because they're using technology to port in numbers so that when the call comes up on your cell phone, it shows up.
It looks like the IRS?
Yeah, it may say IRS or it may say, police department or something like that. So the technology's out there for them to do that. So it's scary. But there's things that you can do to protect yourselves from those, and these apply for a lot of the different scams that are out there. One of the things that you're going to find is that they're going to urgency. It's always going to be urgent, meaning you need to do something now for them in order not to be arrested or not to have collections company contacted. I think what people need to do is they need to wait. They need to wait before responding. Push the pause button on things. And it's a red flag if they don't want you to do that.
They always use their words right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or within X minutes.
Those are red flags. And I can tell you that no government agency or police department is going to call and demand you to pay money immediately, or you're going to be arrested. You know, that's a big, big red flag when the urgency, because while they got you, they want to try and get you on the hook, and they want to try and get those funds from you. So definitely, there's nothing wrong with taking a pause and evaluating to make sure that it's a legitimate call. We always recommend that you can call them back again if you think it's possibly legitimate. You call them back, but you call back a phone number that you know is valid. You know.
So look up the real IRS.
Yeah, go to the legitimate government website, get the contact information, call and call them back that way. Don't call back to any numbers that they provide you.
Okay, that's a very good idea. I've also had calls on my cell that have said, a nice sounding woman, I need to have you call us back about your current electric company. Well, for me, the red flag was they didn't know what my electric company was, and so we can talk about your bill. And it's, when you hear that, you think, I pause every single time and think, oh no, did we forget to pay our bill? Is this really the electric company calling? It isn't, of course, and I've never called back, but that's one that surprises me as well, coming in all the time.
Yeah, we see many of these phone calls, whether it's utilities, it's car warranty,
yes.
calls.
Oh my gosh.
And so, some of them are scams and some of them are telemarketers, trying to get business. I mean, some of these may have legit services behind it, but they're trying to fish for customers and stuff like that. Another thing that I can tell you that we recommend is the National Do Not Call Registry. So, both for yourselves and if you're a caregiver, for a senior, is to get them put on that, because I think statistically, I think the FTC will tell you about 70% of all the scams that they're seeing, the reported scams, start with a phone call. Whether it turns into something else, but a very high percentage of these scams start with a phone call.
Okay, I could put my dad on that list,
Yeah.
and maybe that would start
It'll
cutting
help.
down.
Yeah, and you can get online again, and there's a website, government website for that, to get the information to go ahead, like I said, for yourselves and for your loved ones if you're a caregiver for somebody. So
now, I've also been told, don't pick up any cell phone number that you don't recognize. But what I've noticed is so many of them now have a 330, or they'll say Hudson, or they'll say Twinsburg. And they're not legitimate businesses. So should I not answer, or should I, if I don't recognize it, let it go to voicemail, or what do you recommend?
That's a personal choice, but I can tell you, me personally, if I don't know the number that's coming through, I don't answer. And
Okay.
they can leave a message, and if it's important, I'll call them right back.
That's what I figure too.
And you'll find a lot of these places, what you'll find is that number will come through, and if it is a scammer or telemarketer, you won't have a message.
Yeah, I get a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now, the scam that I've been hearing about more and more is it's called the grandchild scam, where somebody calls the older person and pretends to be a grandchild. Have you encountered that?
we hear about these things too, and we take calls from people, and whether it's a long lost relative, a grandchild, and maybe they're in jail and they need money for bail, or they're in some type of trouble. Again, a lot of these scams revolve around some type of emergency. Right?
Okay,
It's a red flag.
We have to keep track of that.
It's some type of emergency that demands an immediate response, which again, most of the time in real life, you have time to make arrangements if somebody did need bail or something like that. So again, they're trying to push you with some type of emergency situation. Again, it could be bail money. And again, another red flag is, if they are asking for money, how do they want the funds? A lot of times they're looking for things that are not untraceable. They want money orders, Western Union, they want paid in iTunes cards. Things that if you're not, us talking here, that makes sense, that yeah, that's weird, but when you throw that emergency situation in and people aren't thinking.
And they're crying, Grandma, help me.
Right, so that's where you need to slow down. Again, verify things and slow things down. Most of the time, even in a true emergency situation, you have time to evaluate stuff. Don't let somebody push you into a situation that you're not comfortable with, and don't fight your natural instincts. If you think it's odd,
yeah, then it probably is.
It probably is, and that's what we do a lot of times as human beings. We fight our natural instincts. You don't want to believe, that that's happening. So, pay attention to your inner self when you're hearing, hey, that seems a little weird. There's probably a reason.
Let's talk about things that happen online. I know that I have received Apple informing me about a need to change my password when I have not initiated it, or the bank wants me to verify my account information when there would be no reason on God's green earth why I would have to that minute verify my.
Right.
But it looks just like their stuff. I mean, the Apple logo and the bank and even the FDIC insured, little bit on the bottom. That is really hard to know what to do, whether it's real or whether it's fake, and I'm scared to click on it.
And I would suggest that you don't, right? So anything that you get like that, if you're not sure it's a scam, then what you need to do is you need to go to the company's website. Again, don't go through any links. You go to your account login that you normally would use, and that's where you log in. And if there is an alert or a message, that's where you're gonna find it. Chances are, with a lot of them, you're not, because they're scams. So you never want to go through somebody's link that they sent you with something like that, like some type of unsolicited email about your password or your account. You want to go to the actual login that you normally use, and if you don't use the online stuff, call the legitimate bank or whatever organization that you're dealing with. You'll see that stuff with eBay too, where they want you to change passwords, and some of these online shopping centers and stuff like that, where they want to get your information. And
it's always so normal looking, but you do have to wonder. I know, at least I have always wondered, well, why is that happening now? I have done nothing with this company, for example, for a period of time, or my bank, why is it doing it now that I have to change account information suddenly? So the best thing to do then is either to go to this, not to click on the link, and to go to the source.
Yeah, slow down, verify.
Slow down. I like that. I really like that you're saying that.
Yeah, and like I said, if you go to the legitimate logins and you go through your process, if there's a problem, you're going to be able to find out, that way, rather than clicking the link that may take you somewhere where you don't want to be. Okay.
Talk a little bit about romance scams. I know that every now and then on television I'll see an ad for over 60, I think it's called, or over 50, or over something, and you can, start finding your romance in your later years if you're single in your later years. That sounds always sort of fishy to me. So tell me a little bit about that.
There's tons of online dating sites, and we're talking about the senior group today. Our seniors are active these days, right?
Right.
So they're going to start using
We're not like our parents.
Yeah, a lot of seniors are active and social, and there's nothing wrong with these sites. However, just like anywhere else, you have predators. You have people that are going to use even legitimate sites, for their own benefit. So they might not be there looking for romance. And we're definitely seeing an increase in reported scams through, you call them romance scams, through some of the dating sites and social media platforms. One of the biggest things, though, is how long you're talking to this person online before you actually meet them in person. A lot of these people won't meet you in person. They're going to at all. They're going to meet you, in the chat rooms or on the online platforms and stuff like that.
Well, how do they get away with not saying, at some point you'd think that somebody would say, let's go have dinner together or coffee, or do they just come up with excuses?
And that's a red flag, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Again, we fight our own, kind of instincts as far as, well, that's weird. Every time we talk about meeting, something comes up. Again, so it's a red flag. Because certainly these people, that's their job. Their livelihood is spending the day trying to take your money. So they're doing this with multiple people at the same time on these websites and platforms and stuff like that. But yeah, red flag is, you're supposed to meet for coffee, you're supposed to meet, at the mall, at the park, wherever you're going to meet each other, and there's always an excuse why they're not going to meet. And usually you'll see at some point during the romance scams is they'll come up again with some type of emergency situation, right? After you think you're getting to know somebody, all of a sudden, they have a relative that is in need of some type of surgery, or
they lost their job.
They lost their job and they're going to get kicked out of their house, that type of thing.
And they want you to give them money.
Correct.
Oh, I think that's sad.
It is. It's reality, but it's a sad reality.
So, what you said two words today that I think for me were the things that will be in my brain forever, and I hope to the people watching us, and that is slow down and really follow your instincts. Do what you think you should be doing, not what you're being rushed into doing.
Absolutely.
The other thing I just want to address very briefly, and because I was mentioning to you before we started, it scares me with my father not to give personal information over the phone. And I'm not even talking about credit card information or any of that, but I'm living alone, or I'm 99 years old, or the house is empty during the day, or
right. Yeah, we sometimes we share too much information. So not even on the phone. So yeah, the phone's one way, but when we talk about some of the social media platforms and stuff like that, like there's Facebook and all other ones that are out there, is again, personal information. There's certain things that you should not disclose. You don't want people to know, like if you're going on vacation and your house can be empty, you don't want to put a post, dogs are going to the kennel this week.
We're ready to leave.
We're ready to go. We'll be back on the 23rd. No one will be there between these dates, because those are things that the criminals, look for. They know your house is empty. They know that you're not going to be there. They know your dogs are out of the house. So yeah, sometimes sharing a little bit too much information. And this goes back to, again, and we're talking about seniors. This is stuff, though, for everybody. This isn't just a senior problem.
Right.
Matter of fact, I looked up some statistics, like when we were talking about this, just to educate myself a little bit to see, nationwide what place we're seeing. And from what I was able to find, like millennials, like younger people, are actually more prone to these scams than seniors. However, seniors, the losses are more significant. And there's a reason for that. Is
We're
that
more
younger?
Trusting?
Well, we also have more money.
Oh.
Right? So the
Sure.
older,
more than a millennial.
Yeah, yes. I mean, when you're young,
cases,
you think back, like you're in college or whatever. I mean, you're just worrying about getting the, groceries for a couple nights and being able to go out on the weekend and pay some small bills. When we get older and when you get into the senior group, I mean, they've saved their whole lives, right? For, the nest egg, for retirement and stuff like that. So younger people are just as prone, if not more prone, to the scams. However, the losses are more significant to senior groups.
That's interesting. So. I guess I think of us seniors of me being more of a target than my 29-year-old daughter. Well, she's not a millennial, I guess, anymore, but
Well, you're a more lucrative target.
I'm a more lucrative target, that's for darn sure. There's one other one I want you to bring up, and I promise I won't keep you too long, but it's one that my daughter mentioned, and the delivery scam. So somebody brings an unexpected gift to the door, and the delivery person asked for my credit card for a delivery fee, which is small, $3, $4, but won't deliver the package unless I pay that little fee. And then the next day, I open up my bank statement and there's $4,000 taken out of it on my credit card.
Sure, because you just gave them your credit card
I just
information.
gave them my credit card.
Again,
Have you heard of that one?
Again, slow down. And if it seemed, if you didn't order something.
Well, it was a gift.
Gift.
Joe Schmo, who knows?
And if you think about it, though, again, if you slow down and think about it,
Who's really
how
gonna
often, have
Yes.
you ever sent a gift to somebody but not paid for the shipping?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So it's
haven't.
again kind of slowing down and going, and are they going to not deliver it if you don't pay for it right then and there? Does it hurt to wait a couple days? Again, verify, slow down, verify who's it from, get the information, look into the company, the shipping company, ask them who it's from, and contact that person. Did you send me did you send me a gift?
All right, good point. Slow down and think. It's hard when things like this happen at the moment and you feel, you do feel a sense of, oh my gosh, I really have to do something here.
Right.
The ones that I always fall for, I haven't clicked on the link, but it's the Apple with the Apple logo saying that my account is in some way compromised. And I always think, oh my gosh, did I screw it up? What did I do? I've learned now not to do anything, and it's not been compromised. But it's scary when you see that stuff,
Right.
and you think it's legitimate and that you have done something wrong.
Yeah, you'll get people that'll, tell you that they've hijacked your computer. There's so many of these scams out there. But again, I think a lot of times if we just slow ourselves down, do a little bit of research. If you think, some of them you may right away know that they're a scam and just not do
Yeah.
anything with. But if it's something that you're concerned about and you think there could be some legitimacy to it, slow down, do some research, contact the agencies or the business through their verified contact information rather than going through the stuff that you've received. You might be able to save yourself a lot of problems down the road.
And we should let the police know if we have been a victim of scamming, if we did find that there's that $4,000 missing from our bank account, and we always notify you as well as the bank, do we not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll definitely take reports, and if it's something we can investigate, we will. You'll find a lot of these cases are very hard to investigate and prosecute. You've got people, whether it's the romance scams, whether it's the grandchildren scam, but a lot of these are not even people in the United States. They're in other countries because the technology allows them to make to do the internet stuff and the phone calls. So they can be difficult to prosecute. So the best bet is for everybody if we can stop them from happening. Harden ourselves up as far as being victims to these scammers.
Yep.
But certainly you can report it. There's other places you can report to too. The Attorney General, Ohio Attorney General, online. You can go to their website. They have a scam reports form. The FTC has reporting.
Oh.
And a lot of these you can do online. You don't even have to call them because they gather their information as well and try and track and figure out ways to
I never
beat
knew
stuff.
that. That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope it doesn't happen to me. I hope it doesn't happen to my dad, and I appreciate it. If you hear of the new ones, come on back and let's make sure that everybody keeps knowing what to watch out for.
Absolutely. And the thing is, one of the big things I'd like people to know is even if you've been a victim of these scams, just remember you're not the only one, because sometimes they're underreported.
Embarrassment.
They're embarrassed. They're embarrassed.
I
But
hear that.
It happens to a lot of people, and a lot of people afterwards I can't believe I fell for that.
It.
But don't be embarrassed. Talk to people. And the thing is, if you're not sure about something, talk to, you know, if you're senior, you've got a caregiver or you've got kids or somebody, talk to somebody about it before you move forward with it. Talk to them. And that's another thing I forgot to mention is that a lot of these people, some of these scams, they'll try and urge you not to tell anybody, right? They may try and tell you, you know, you're not allowed to tell anybody. If you talk to somebody about this, you're going to compromise our investigation, or you're going to be in trouble.
Horrible.
That's a huge red flag as well, right? So the pushing, the urgency, and this any time that somebody wants something to be a secret, or you know, you're not allowed to tell people about or talk about it, red flags.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, too bad it's happening, but it is, and we have to face it, and we have to deal with it. Thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate it. And this is North of 60. Talk to you next time.